Hey, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. TK, and in today's video, I'll be taking you behind the scenes of what it takes to prep for a epic Walt Disney World trip. And so I found all of the items that I'm going to show you today on Amazon. I'll make sure to put all the links in below. But as you see me bring the things on the screen, I'll also chit chat with you, and feel free to let me know if you have any questions in the comment box about any of the products that I'm going to feature. So first and foremost, we're going to Walt Disney World in July, right after the 4th of July. It will be 5 of us. And so I tend to go on Amazon and find things that maybe I couldn't find last year, or that I have in my cart saved from last year, or maybe on a little mini Disney vision board. And so I like wearing my iWatches, and so it counts my steps. I do recognize, and sometimes me and the family get a little contest going on, but when we go to the parks, especially if we go probably around 11 or 12 o'clock, we don't go super early. And if we stay there probably to the fireworks show, or maybe Animal Kingdom and Walt Disney World, it closes at 8. If we go back to the room by then, plus also going to the pool and hanging out, grabbing food, we will walk well over about 15,000 steps. Sometimes we hit 21, 22. So I'm really curious to see if we're gonna break any records. With that said, I decided to deck out my iWatch with the little band decor. And so it's Minnie Mouse inspired. It has the Minnie Mouse, it's rose gold with the bow, with the little diamonds inside. And then it's a small thin one. And the idea is that you can actually stack them outside of your band. And so I have noticed that when I put them on this band is a little bit smaller. I'm actually waiting on the thicker bands to come in the mail. But nevertheless, I can either put them on my iWatch, or I can also put them on my Magic Band. So if you have not been to Walt Disney World before, especially in the last 2 years, for example, if you haven't been back, they've upgraded their Magic Bands. Their Magic Bands are activated by sound. I mean, when it was the 50th year, celebration for almost 2 years, we had a few of those different brands, meaning different types and different decorations on each watch. And when you walk by certain parts in the park, they actually light up, they make noise. It's almost like it's singing along with the song. And then there are some other cool things that they do in the app. And then we're also in Southern California, so now that Disneyland is in their 100th year celebration, we can take our same watch, link it to the app for Disneyland, and it does the same thing. And so I will be too watched out. Actually, you know what? Let me show you my watch. Hold on for a second. Okay, so went upstairs to grab the bands. So first, let me show you the older band. So we thought these were so cool because we didn't have to carry around the Disney World Pass on the card. And before 2020, they didn't have them all uploaded to the app like they do now. The only thing though is that you have to make sure your phone is charged. And so that's why I prefer to have the bands and use this all day. And then by default, if for whatever reason it dies, which it has never done that, then I will use my phone. And so these were the old bands, and there was no charge. You literally put it on. Now, clearly it looked crazy putting it on top of another watch. And so I would tend to like have a cute bracelet or something over here. And then I would just latch it right here, where technically it looks like I have 2 watches. So that's the first version. Now they have more upgraded. It looks almost the same, just a little bit bigger, a little thicker, but you can get all types of designs. This one is for the Disney Vacation Club. So I had this one. True story, we were at Disneyland. I know that I lost it on the Matterhorn. I had a Disney Mom one that was red. My husband has Disney Dad, that's blue. Both of our kids we have 2 boys, so we have one that's red, one that's blue, so that, they ain't fighting over we just got them their favorite colors during that season. And so I was on the Matterhorn. I made sure that it was secure, but I did notice that, and we ordered them this time on Amazon, so I'm waiting for them to come in the mail. You need something, just as a suggestion, highly recommended. They have these clamps that you can like put on this part of your watch, and that way it doesn't just flap off, because they're not as secure as they should be for $40, right? And so what me and the kids do typically, especially if we have on a sweater, but now it's summer, is that when they had on like sweaters or jackets, we would typically tell them to pull their sweater down over the watch and only show it when they are getting on the rides. Now, why this is important is because depending on how many of these you bring with you, you want to make sure that you have enough of these. So for example, 4 of us have these. I'm going to buy my cousin one that's also going with us this trip. I'll buy his when we get out there. But I tend to bring all 4 simply because we usually charge them overnight, and I don't want to wake up in the middle of the night to swap them. I want to make sure that they're fully charged. And I've seen what happens when they're not fully charged. They will die as soon as you put them on the wrist. Now, what is nice about these is that even though it has like a charger where you just clamp it on, it has the little 2 prongs right here. So when you clamp it on, you just plug it into a USB charger, but you can put it on your wrist and actually not turn it on until you get closer to the park, which makes sense. So these are the new Disney Magic Bands, and they have plenty to choose from either at the parks and or on the website, okay? So like I said, 5 of us going to Walt Disney World. We go to Disney World about 2 to 3 times a year, and this next item that I'm gonna show you comes with a funny story, but it's well overdue. And so I have now purchased these clear suitcase bags that will, one, protect our luggage from getting scrapes, because I did go to the Bay's warehouse sale, the first one apparently that they've had. I didn't know it was the first one. I've never purchased anything from them, but I would follow them and I would be like, wow, like their bags are so beautiful. And then when I just recently got back from a trip, we went to Vegas, my zipper broke. And it was Betsy Johnson, and I love that luggage because it stands out. It was some pink, black, and white, and green flowers. And anytime that I would go to baggage claim, we knew which bag was mine. So I like to get bags that are bright. I'm gonna do a whole unveiling of, I kind of did it on Instagram already, of the luggage that we got. But because I know that the bigger ones are going under the plane, I wanted to ensure, one, that we could provide some type of protection for scrapes as much as possible, but then also we want to protect it as much as possible from the rain. Now this time we're doing Delta. Delta is my favorite airline because I don't like stops. Granted, if you go overseas or depending on what time you fly and where you're going, I know that some flights do have a layover, but I prefer in this era, because of all these cancellations and things, that we don't have a stop. So true story, clearly everybody racked up a whole lot of flight credit because of 2020. So we typically only purchase Southwest tickets when we are going to Oregon, Portland, Oregon for family, like a family reunion or something. Maybe Washington, but I typically do Alaska. But we specifically do it if we're doing a quick trip to the Bay Area, Northern California, or Las Vegas. Now, we have purchased these tickets for a crazy deal, and we thought it was a cool deal, so we went ahead and bought the tickets like in 2019. But then when 2020 hit, clearly we couldn't use any of the credit, but then back then they made us use it by expiration date. Apparently the expiration date is now null and void. It no longer expires, which is definitely overdue, Southwest, especially after that little mishap y'all done had about, 5 months ago when we went to Hawaii, but we made it there, smoothly, no delays. And we were traveling like 1 week after all them cancellations happened, but nevertheless, I learned my lesson. So we're on Southwest and there's a layover. I can't remember if we were like in Chicago or something like that, but it was pouring down, raining. So when we got off the plane, it was me, my husband, and our 2 boys. We grabbed something to eat, and then, we sat down and we were just looking out the window at the planes. So my husband said, man, this looked just like our luggage. And when they move your bags from one plane to the next, they put it on those big crates or whatever they're called. And they usually have some type of tarp over them, at least at the top. Not necessarily in the front, but it protects majority of the bags. That's why I do not like cloth bags. And so he said, that looked just like our bag. And I said, that is our bag. And then I said, well, wait a minute. Where's the car seat? The car seat's sitting right there. Lesson learned. After that, when we had to bring a car seat, we start going on Amazon and purchasing those things as well. I'll actually link up my other video that I published last year when we went to Walt Disney World with like 24 people. I created this long list for all of my cousins who were bringing their kids for the first time, because humidity is not a joke, but neither are these storms. So with that said, I decided for my new luggage and also for our existing luggage for my husband and then the kids' luggage, we purchased 4 of these covers. And one thing I will say, make sure that you either know the height, the length and the width of the suitcase. Because mine were new, they had it on there, but older ones we have to guess. So we got out the measuring tape and measured it. I would encourage it because you don't want this bottom part right here dragging on the ground. So we had 2 30 inches because 2 of the suitcases were 29 inches. And then we purchased 2 28 inches because one was 26 and one was 27 for whatever reason. So this snaps on the bottom. You just pull it over at the top. At the top, they have some open sections, more than likely for like the handle that like you can lift up the luggage, but also the handle that you typically hold when you're rolling the luggage. And then it, you know, measures out this way and it's 30 inches this way. So I really like it. I would have preferred if I had enough time to get the actual brand of the suitcase that I have, because theirs, you don't have to actually take this off. It actually has a zipper and you just open the suitcase. So you never have to take this off. And I would actually prefer that, because if it's wet, I have to take it off and put it back on, and I have to find somewhere to store it as well where we are staying. And so again, I purchased 3 more and I made sure that all of our luggage is protected. So in terms of packing, for the 2 kids, we have a 5-year-old and a 12-year-old, 2 boys. And then we have a 20-something-year-old cousin, and then me and my husband. And so me and my husband typically carry the 29-inch big luggage pieces. Now, up to this year, this trip, we were putting the 5-year-old's clothes with mine. My youngest son would have like either a duffel bag or a small rolly bag, or we would split his stuff between also my suitcase and my husband's suitcase. Now, men, you know, y'all shoes are like way bulkier. Women, we can get like some cute little tennis shoes and sandals and flip-flops and be straight, right? Unless you wear like super bulky tennis shoes. And so with that said, you know, I would usually put like my son's clothes in the zipper on the left side of the suitcase, and then I would put mine in like the packing cubes as well, just like his. And then I would usually take 2 suitcases, a 29-inch and then a middle size that still is check-in, but I would put the toiletries in there because the toiletries can get fairly heavy. When we go to Florida, we typically go to Walmart or to Target, but because we're staying in the Disney bubble, AKA the Walt Disney World resorts, because we can also stay in a timeshare that my mom purchased when I was 14 years old. But because we have both, we can like flip-flop depending on how we feel for each trip. And because we have our 12-year-old, we stayed at the location that we're staying at this time, but he didn't go. Like when we went back in March for my youngest son's birthday, because they have 2 different school schedules and we have a blended family. So we have totally different schedules in 2 different households. And sometimes we're not all together when we travel. And so with that said, I'll release where we're staying at once we get there. I'll videotape it. I'll take you on a resort view because we are staying in a different room. And then I'll also have some surprises that I'm doing for the family. So I don't want to say anything just in case this video go out before the surprise is revealed. You already know because my kids do watch the vlogs. So when we check in, we typically take between all of us about 4 to 5 suitcases. So what we did, which I thought was genius, is my husband was like, "Are you serious?" After we took all the luggage that was not new outside of the garage, I said, "Let's do a practice run. And without expanding the suitcases, let's just make sure that all of these suitcases are going to fit in the back of the truck." Because unlike most trips where it's either just 3 or 4 of us, it's actually 5 of us, which means that it's 3 adults and 2 children with a toddler car seat in the car. But what I'm saying is there's no room to put outside of backpacks any bags in the car. So every single thing that we take has to be able to go in that trunk. So we were able to fit everything in there with a little bit of wiggle room for a little backpack or a purse or something like that. So I'm really excited. As long as we don't expand a bag, we are gravy. So make sure that you prep to pack before you go so that you don't run into surprises the morning or evening that you're supposed to leave. And then you have to find alternative ways to get to the airport. And that is not ideal for us because we live about 50 miles away from the main airport because we moved out here where we live at now 4 years ago. So we have to make sure that we don't need to drive 2 cars. You know, we already booked where the car is going to be parked at and everything. And that's really important too, to make sure that you book your parking reservation early because you can get early bird deals. All right, let's keep going. So considering that we just talked about the rain, it would only be fair if we talked about the benefit of these ponchos. Okay, let me smile with them. Right? So again, we've been stormed and rained out of parks. If I can find some pictures, most of them are probably footage and videos that are super old.
Welcome to Sunset Boulevard, y'all. Coming to you live from Sunset Boulevard in front of the Hollywood Tower of Terror. I am risking my life being out here, but I'm here for you. My Nikes are wet.
Yeah!
My Nikes are wet. My hair is wet. But luckily it's that good stuff. Look at it. Welcome to Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah!
I should get paid the big bucks to be here for you. This again is just disrespectful. Look how pale my face looked. That's how much rain had hit my face. It didn't took off my brown skin. Look at the shorts, y'all. It's over. It's over. Okay, so currently it started raining as soon as we came out of the first market at Magic Kingdom, but we made sure that we walked around just a little bit because the storm did slow down. We're gonna hang out a little bit to see what kind of rides Avery can get on because he really hasn't gotten on any rides. So they're gonna take him on this Aladdin ride. So super excited to see how he does. He has liked all the rides thus far, and we'll just roll with these ponchos. We end up purchasing the ponchos for adults, and I got a 5-pack only because when we first started going to Walt Disney World and like started getting into ponchos, because outside of that, being younger, we were just like, we just gonna get wet. And so we started buying ponchos almost every year at the Dollar Tree because the Dollar Tree was across the street from the timeshare resort that we stay in pretty much every year. And so the last couple of times that we went, I'm like, this feel real trash baggy, right? To the point where I remember we were in Hawaii, totally separate trip, but the only color they had left in my oldest son's size was black. And when we were walking down the street, I'm like, somebody gonna swear we run a trash. You know what I'm saying? Like we just cut a hole in a trash bag. You know what I'm saying? That go at a school trash, big old trash can, okay? And he got to walk down the street, but we had to do it because we wanted to get out and walk at Waikiki Beach. But same thing in Florida, you know, you can dress with super light clothes, you should, because it's hot and it's humid, but you also want to be protected. And I keep these in the package. I keep them in our luggage that typically goes to Florida. And we typically get more than what we need because this time my youngest son is not in a stroller. We're not taking a stroller. If we got to rent a stroller, we will do that. But I highly doubt that he'll want to get into it because he likes to look around now. But last year we had him decked out with like a fan that attaches to it that lights up at night, because if you have children that are in strollers, first of all, those Disney strollers are super hard. They can't lean back. I've been seeing kids like leaning over, about to pass out. But then also if you have your own stroller, just keep in mind that it's humid. So even though you have the shade protector, it's still humid. And if children are not used to that humidity based off where you live, I know in California, it can get pretty hot where I live, but I've only seen it one time be as dry as it is in Florida, and that's still just another level dry. So with that said, you want to protect your children's skin, have sunscreen, even if you're dark, please protect your screen and, you know, watch out for your kids. But get them a poncho because sometimes you might gotta pull one of these adult ponchos if you don't have a stroller protector, which you can also get. Check out my other video, I'll link it below, on Amazon. But we've had seasons, even going to places like New York, where it just rain out of the blue in the summer, and we've had to take an extra poncho and like put it over the stroller and like punch holes in it. But I'd rather do that and my child not be soaked like the adults, okay?
All right, next are just more basic essentials. And so, you know, I'm gonna kind of run through these. We take our sponges. When we take these, we usually do one of two things. And so it comes with 2 brown, 2 blue, and 2 white. So clearly, because it's 5 of us going, we are technically just gonna take this whole pack. Now, let's just say if I had some sponges that we've had in the bathroom, because I do cycle through them. I do not like keeping sponges because sponges hold bacteria, but you know, everybody in the household uses them pretty much. So if I feel like those sponges are on their way out, I may pack those and put them in a big Ziploc bag and then keep these at home. But for this trip, because there's so many of us going and they're already compressed into the bag, it's just better that I take the whole bag. We just have to remember whose is who. So we'll probably go along the lines of what color do you use at home, but then you have to make sure you remember where you placed it. So bought these on Amazon, and these are fairly inexpensive. I buy them probably every 3 to 4 months. And then we just, you know, it's not that many of us in the house like all the time. So we are able to use like just half of them, you know, and things like that. All right, going along with toiletries, I did purchase some travel soap boxes. And so I have very sensitive skin. I use aloe soap bars, but I also use like Bath & Body Works essential oils and things like that. But I'm so sensitive where, ladies, you'll get me, I can only put certain types of soaps on different parts of my body. So with that said, sorry, thought that was my son. He might burst in here, I don't know. So this is real life here. So they gave us 2, or they gave me 2. Just gonna take one. I like it because it's actually my branding colors, like the Tiffany blue or mint green and then the pink. So they're pretty thick, and typically the soaps that I get, they're pretty big bars versus the thin ones. So sometimes it sucks because you buy these from Target and then they can't close, or they're super cheap and they break. So I'm gonna try these out and let you all know how they work. And you open them, they feel like Tupperware. Oh, and this is another benefit. They also come with rubber bands so that they won't open in your luggage, which is key. So they have this little thing here, I'm guessing to like catch the suds or to make it not slide. It's pretty, you know, deep for the most part. You have the pink ring here, and then you have the white top that has the ability to seal inside. So then you just close it, and then you put the rubber band around it. And this is nice because I've seen my soap stuff open and then I gotta throw away my whole soap bar. So being there a week, we probably won't even bring the soap back, but I also put my soap bar in here, and I like to take it just because I don't know what the showers are like, because sometimes when we go to Walt Disney World, even if we stay at our regular timeshare or Disney Vacation Club, we sometimes like to experiment and stay in different rooms. And so I'll look up the rooms, you know, online through other YouTube vlogs, but you know, I just still, especially with a lot of us, I don't like my soap just sitting anywhere. So I would prefer just to keep it here. Now, something for me. Mama gotta have a life too. So I find that as a mom, you know, I like nice things, right? I like to decorate my office. I like to get dressed up nice, but I do a lot of work from home at this point. And so I find that because I work out at home, I create content at home, I shoot YouTube videos at home, I record my podcast at home, literally all in a space or outside, or I go to the pool and jacuzzi at home. The only thing that I really do outside of this home, outside of like hanging out with family, and I have to drive 40 miles to even do that, is that I will go drop and pick off my son from school. Usually I pick him up, my husband drops him off. You know, I'll run errands. I don't really go to the grocery store, do Instacart. And I really like going outside. I need to get more vitamin D. But I'm saying this because I've gotten so relaxed at times where I have to remind myself, hey, you should buy yourself something nice. It doesn't have to be something super luxury, but it can be luxury in this season, which is chilling. And it doesn't require you to like put on heels and get all the way dressed up. So with that said, I have been looking on Pinterest for some aesthetically like cute shoes that can go with a lot of things but are not ugly, right? I don't want old just straight up black. So I like New Balances. Another picture. Right? And super excited that I was able to buy something for myself, especially some comfortable shoes, because I don't want to wear my workout shoes to Walt Disney World. I want to look cute. So I decided to buy some shoes. So these are the shoes that I bought. It's a New Balance, I got a 9.5 because sometimes shoes run a little bit thin right here on my feet. I don't have wide feet, but I don't know why this part, like on the side of my big toe, it always like squeezes when I get like also name brand tennis shoes. So I know that New Balance fits different, but I do want to break these in probably this weekend before I go and like walk around the house or outside or something. But got these on Amazon as well. So they are powder blue with the white writing. You see the nude neutral color right here. You have the, what is it, rose pink? Let me see. Rose blanc. I don't know. Pink, say pink and white. So pink, white, and powder baby blue, number 574 right here. But they're really, really nice. So let me get my picture again. Because I got me some new shoes. So excited. And it matches, like everything matches, even though my soul clearly ain't going to Walt Disney World like outside. But really excited that I got myself some tennis shoes. All right, now speaking of shoes, my oldest son, his shoe size is like growing rapidly, and you know, I'll be teasing him sometimes in a loving way, like them sandals too small. But we've had a hard time finding his size because he's in between like a 6.5 to 7.5, but we prefer to get them a little bigger. But then when we go in places like Foot Locker and try to get the Nike slides, it's like, oh, that size is too small. They don't have it available. You got to go to men's, but then men's jump to a size 10 and 12. What happened to the 8 and 9s? So initially I went on Amazon and added them to my cart. But then when our cousin came over here, he had these cool sandals on, and our son is into like the graphic hoodies, tees, and he would really like these sandals. So we actually just showed it to him on FaceTime because we're gonna get him right before the trip and he'll be with us like, you know, that whole week or whatnot. But we end up ordering him these flip-flop sandals. So they're a size 8, and it reminds me of, what is it, Elmo and maybe a Cookie Monster? I said a Cookie Monster because I definitely don't think these are Sesame Street. But they're tan, size 8, and he said that he likes them, and they have some traction on the bottom. So we're actually gonna see if we can order my youngest son some, because they like to match sometimes. They're, oh, we got the same sandals. But I did buy my youngest son some stuff from the Disney store. I don't have it with me, but I'll probably just capture some pictures or something later and put it in the next video or put it in our actual vlog when we're out there. But we went to the outlets, and then we ended up going to the Disney store, and they had these cute like adult bathing suits and bikinis. They had like the matching kids outfit with the sandals. So needless to say, me and my youngest son about to be matching out here on the beach. So almost done, y'all. Super excited. So this is well deserved, okay? A kettle. So I don't drink coffee. Sometimes they have the coffee machines in the room. I don't like to even do my tea in there because somebody be leaving the coffee particles. They don't, you know, clean out the inside, and then you gotta run the hot water in those Keurigs for like 3 times before the coffee particles go away. And I'm like, come on, I don't even wanna see it. And so I decided to purchase a collapsible kettle. Now I did at one point purchase like one of those cups that sat on this thing that was supposed to heat it, but I kid you not, it sat there for an hour and never got hot. So I ended up sending it back to Amazon, and I was like, this is horrible. And I'm more concerned about carrying that cup. And so keep in mind that if you are in a resort and it doesn't have a full kitchen, at least with the room that like we're staying in this time, it doesn't have a full-blown kitchen that we're used to. So this Florida trip is about to be really interesting because I'm so used to having a full kitchen, making tacos, enchiladas, during the middle of the day at the pool, hot dogs, because sometimes chicken strips just get old. You know, sometimes a lot of those restaurants, the food is just dry. And sometimes I don't want to go sit down at a restaurant. I just want to chill, you know, but it's sometimes nice just to like cook and just sit down on the balcony. But we'll always have to go get food this time. So I said at minimum, I'm going to bring my kettle. I'm going to make sure I bring my own cup. And so let me show you what the kettle looks like. It is the Tiffany blue color. It comes with a travel bag. So I'm gonna put it in here in my suitcase, and I'm definitely gonna put it under the plane just because when it comes down to stuff with plugs, I just don't like to play around with TSA stopping me in line, saying that they have to check all my stuff. I already have TSA pre-check, just let me roll through. So it comes with a plug. We just plug it into the outlet. Now, one thing I do need to make sure of is that we can find one that has 3, because a lot of them only have 2. in the room, but we'll see. So it plugs in, this is the handle. It plugs in right here in the back. And just to show you the front, here, and it literally pulls up. Take the top off. I'm gonna clean it out before I go. And then you have enough for, I'm gonna say the amount of tea that I drink, probably 2 to 3 cups. So that's nice. So like if I wanted to like get more, I'll just go and keep the water warm. So you put the top back on. Oh, and then it has the beautiful handle where you just attach it right here. Isn't it so cute? So bring it down. And then in the front, it also has the on and off switch. So you can make sure that it's off, but I always like unplug stuff anyway. And this is how easy it is. Right, so cool, so cool. I don't know why it has taken me this long to purchase this. And so the last item is the best item. No, I'm kidding. But it will keep you cool. So remember how I was saying, like when our son had the stroller, we had the attachable fan with like the little spider legs. And so this time we decided just to buy everybody. Me and my husband already had one. We bought another cousin that went with us last Walt Disney World Tour, because we like to bring as many people as we can. If I'm in a financial position where I can grab you a ticket and then use points to upgrade your seat, let's go. So we're bringing our cousin. He did a really good job in college and he's with us for the summer. So I was like, hey, you know, if you want to stay here, that's fine, but you can just roll with us to Florida. What you doing in 3 days? You know, kind of thing. And he was like, I can go. And so we purchased neck fans. Like some people do the little handheld ones. Those are cute, but that requires me to hold it and I'm not doing that. Ladies, I will say, if you have long hair and it's down, especially if it's hot, please make sure that you watch your hair with these fans. Now, I'm not saying that anything bad has happened, but I'm just super precautious and you can't see the blades or anything like that. But the way that the air blows out, and I'll show you, you don't want your hair, any strand, to get inside because I just don't know what's gonna happen. So don't let your kids wear it like this. All right, it goes around the neck like this. And then as you can see, it has the open parts all around, and I would clearly do it like that. And you see my ponytail is not really touching it, so I'm cool with it like this. But it definitely keeps you cool. Now, one tip, if you take like backpacks and stuff, is if you go into a ride and you're in the inside, you don't need it. Like just save it because you don't want the battery to run out because at night it's still hot, but it's not, you know, it's not sunny. So that does add an extra layer of heat. But this one is the 5200 and I like the higher numbers because that means that it's more powerful with the air. And it does help even if it's hot air around you, but of course they hydrate and drink a lot of water. So I love that it's gold plated around the ears on both sides. We got both of the kids and then our cousin, all the same color. I have pink and then my husband has another white one, but it doesn't look like this. It's another brand. But here's the on button and I'm going to be quiet so you can listen. It goes up 3 levels. That's level 1, level 2, and level 3. Turn it right off. And this is where you charge it right here. So just like the Magic Bands, charge these overnight. I don't know how long they take to charge, but even though it came out the box charge, we will make sure that the night before we go to the park, we're not gonna charge it before we leave home because I'm not gonna unbox all these, but the night before, like on the dresser, I will lay out everything, including an extra battery pack that we purchased from Amazon like 2 years ago that can charge 2 phones about 2 rounds. And typically I'm the only one that usually has to charge my phone because I'm catching so much footage for social media, for vertical, and then depending on if I take my bigger camera, I may capture some footage on my phone. So with that said, that wraps up my unboxing for preparing for Walt Disney World. If you have not already, make sure that you subscribe and click the like and let me know what was the #1 item that you liked out of this Prepare for Walt Disney World haul. Also, if you have not checked out my playlist for Walt Disney World Family Abundant Travel, please do that as well. And I look forward to connecting with you in another video. And I will also make sure to link up all of the items that I showed, because every single thing that you saw today came from Amazon. All right, I will see you in the next video. Bye.